So I hope you liked that intro. Back again on another cloudy Texas day. Can't believe it. Saw the intro. I can't believe that my pool used to be just a hole and a bunch of pipes. But let's talk today about pipes and how important your plumbing is to having a successful pool build. Okay, so first stop always is DIY pools and spas. If you bought the program, you have a whole bunch of instruction videos and the like. If you didn't buy the program, take a look at some links down in the description. I've got a coupon code down there that'll also get you a whole bunch of money off. Let's go ahead and get logged in. Okay, so you go into the program and you're gonna find right away down in plumbing. Go down to plumbing, phase 3, and we are here. And you see, first step, they got checklists, resources, a whole bunch of videos for you to review, all of this stuff for you to learn. I'm just gonna kind of quickly summarize this. But like every phase, this is one of the neatest things about DIY pools and spas. They give you a checklist for you to do, and then a checklist to give to your subcontractor to make sure everything is done. This is really helpful for those of us that don't have inspections and have to rely on, your own inspection. So one of the neat things on here is they got a pretty extensive FAQ or FAQ. And I'll tell you, a lot of information in here, and we're going to go through some of it in this video. But if you can't find a question or an answer to your question here, you can go right to the guys at DIY Pools and answer it. Or you can even get into the community. This is probably one of the most powerful things, is the DIY Pool Builder community. You get invited into that group, and you have all of these people that have either built pools or building pools and can share with you some of the things they found in their area or unique circumstance. If you're working with a traditional pool builder, they usually make all the plumbing decisions for you. Pipe sizes, jet layouts, how the pad gets plumbed. You don't have much say. But when you go DIY, that control shifts to you, and that's a big deal. But even if you're not going full DIY, I'd still follow along, because knowing what is in your plumbing design means that you can ask better questions and make sure you're getting the best setup for your pool. Your first stop after watching the plumbing training from DIY Pools and Spas should be your engineering plans. Let me show you what to look for. These plans will outline the minimum requirements, the baseline you or your plumber have to meet. And right here is where it matters most. Minimum pipe sizing. You want to look for main suction and return lines. These should be 2.5 inches, but some choose to upgrade to 3 inches for better flow. Your bonding requirements. That includes an 8-gauge solid copper wire running continuously around the pool, and bonding tees at every piece of metal or water connection equipment. Your return lines. Make sure the number of returns matches the plan, or exceeds it if you're going for better circulation. I added one more to eliminate a dead zone. Jets per pump. This is incredibly critical if you have a spa. Too many jets on a single pump and performance suffers. I made the mistake of putting 8. My plan called for a limit of 6, so now I've got to fix it after the pool's built. You want to know how I did it? Ask me in the comments, I'll tell you. Now, one of the things I do not like about DIY Pools and Spa engineering plans is they only give you the minimum pipe sizes, the bonding specs, jet per pump limits, but nowhere does it actually call out how many returns you need or where they should go. So how does a DIY builder who has no experience figure this out? Simple. You gotta lean on circulation best practices and your pool's geometry. Industry folks often do 1 return per 400 square feet of water surface. So for a 1,200 square foot pool, aim for 3 returns. Your plans will show you how much square feet of water is on the plan. Space them evenly around the deep end perimeter, offset from skimmers to create a circular current. If you have a spa or water features, treat each as its own zone. Minimum one dedicated return for every feature line. Now you can see on my shelf here, I actually put a return in, but I didn't need it because I had the bubblings. Sketch the spots on a plan, walk through the site together with your plumber, and mark them with spray paint before any trenching starts. So remember, the engineering plans are your baseline, but they do not do everything for you. You got to fill in those blanks, count your returns, pick their spots, and verify on-site compliance. That's how you'll end up with the best circulation possible, not just minimum requirement. Let's talk about the equipment pad, because this is where everything comes together. Now, your design plan will have your equipment pad on it. However, depending on your local regulations, you still may be able to adjust its location. But how you plan it now determines how easy it'll be able to run, upgrade, and maintain later. Here's what I learned. If you don't map this out before plumbing starts, your plumber may just run the pipes wherever it is easiest. That could mean crowded corners, no room for unions, and a total nightmare when it's time to install new equipment. Leave enough space between pipes and walls. I asked for at least 10 to 12 inches between each stub out. That gives you room for valves, unions, and future add-ons. So I grouped my pipes by function. Suction lines on the right, starting with the spa, then the main drain, and then far and near skimmers. Returns went right down the middle, and then my feature and spa returns went all the way to the left. This makes it easier to isolate problems or expand the system later. So this is your one chance to run conduit and water lines to places you don't even know you'll use yet. Like an outdoor kitchen, fire pit, future spa, maybe a future water feature. Stub it out now while the trenches are open. For me, I ran an extra water line out to the pagoda for both irrigation and a future kitchen. Who knows? I may even put in an outdoor shower. For a typical equipment pad, you're going to need about 3 feet to 8 feet of space. But really, the more space you can find, the better. I mean, that filter is big. The heater, even bigger. And don't forget, your automation panels are going to need some kind of wall space. A good tip is use painter's tape. Lay out your equipment, mark how much space you're going to need. Your equipment pad is your command center, and a clean, well thought out pad makes your pool easy to maintain. And that's something you'll thank yourself year after year. Now, depending on your plumber and what you've agreed to, there are 2 common ways pool plumbing might be done at this stage. Some plumbers will just stub out the plumbing. They'll run pipes through the pool shell, kind of like what you see here on my fellow DIY pool builder. And the idea is that plumbing is completed after the gun. Other plumbers, like the one on my project, will do the entire loop up front. Suction lines, returns, spa jets, and water features, and they'll hook everything together at the equipment pad in something called a manifold. And then they'll pressurize the whole thing. Both methods are valid, but if you're using the full loop system like I did, pressure testing happens right now, before the gunite. And your inspector wants to see this gauge holding steady. If you don't have an inspector, you gotta make sure this gauge is holding steady. See, every suction line, return, spa jet, feature, everything gets capped and pressurized. You're testing the entire plumbing system to confirm it is airtight. Most city inspectors want to see 30 PSI for 15 minutes with 0 drop. Some will allow it go down to 20 PSI. You gotta check your local requirement. But if you're doing it yourself, use water to pressurize. It's safer. Air compresses and can cause injury if something fails. A pool builder might use air, but for DIY, I recommend water. Test it yourself before the inspector shows up. If the gauge drops, stop right there and find the leak. This is your only shot to fix it without breaking concrete later. Pressure testing isn't just a box to check. It's your last line of defense before everything disappears under 6 inches of concrete, dirt, rubble, or what have you. Take the time, do it right. Before the gunite crew shows up, this is your last chance to double check everything. Walk the entire system, count the pipes, make sure the equipment layout matches what's on your plan, and that you've got return lines, even if the engineering plans didn't tell you how many. Remember, it's up to you to verify. And if you're working with a plumber, this is a great time to take video or photos of everything in case there's ever a question. And if you're doing it DIY, double check your list one more time. Because once the gunite is shot, all of this disappears. So that's plumbing. Whether you're DIY or working with a builder, understanding what's happening underground is key to avoiding costly mistakes later. And if this video helped you, give it a like, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next, because we're just getting started. Up next, the most exciting phase, gunite. Until then, I'm Scott. Save big, build smart. See you in the next one.